have died, the couple makes plans to get married, but there's a surprise ending. There are 3 acts, and Act 2 has 2 scenes, so we will have a short break between those scenes. And now the introduction of characters. Danny Grunley as Mr. Morlock. Amy Shagerwood as Mrs. Morlock. Tracy J. Fingelstead as Mary Morlock. Stephanie Thompson as Jessica Morlock. Kathy Larchard as Mildred the maid. Eric Mott as Joe Lamponi. Luigi Lamponi. Amy Rodriguez as Martha Lamponi.
Oh, no.
Kay Johnson as Lucifer. Jenny Gabrielson as Miss Akers. Mark Peterson as George Clue. Sheena Larson as Mrs. Schmaltz. Brian Carroll as Dr. Brown. And David Gross as Mr. Black. We hope you enjoy the performance tonight.
Hello, Mr. Brubaker. Yes, Mr. Brubaker. We have a little misfortune, yes. We just went a little too heavy on those stocks. We'll have it back by the end of the week.
Huh.
You're fired! No, Mr. Brubaker, I wasn't talking to you. I know I couldn't fire you, and I wouldn't if I could, Mr. Brubaker. I was talking to my secretary, who I'm quite certain is not only insane, but the dumbest, the poorest, the most blundering, the worst excuse for a secretary I have ever seen. Yes, Mr. Morlock. We'll see you in the office in the morning. Yes, Mr. Morlock. Brubaker, what have said about the deal?
Well, we couldn't help it, Mr. Morlock.
True, George. We'll make it back. We'll make back every cent and thousands more. I'm not vice president for nothing.
I'll say not, unless you call $115,000 a year nothing.
$60,000. That's on the books.
Plus $55,000 that isn't on the books.
Take a letter, Miss Akers.
I said I was fired.
I said take a letter.
Yes, Mr. Morlock. Hello, Papa.
Good evening, Jessica.
Do what I'm doing, Papa. I'm training for gym.
For who?
It isn't a who, it's a what. I'm going to be a wrestler.
Get the latest quotations, George. And take a letter, Miss Akers. To Huff and Huff, Barnes Building, New York.
Aren't you interested in my ambitions, Papa?
Dear Mr. Huff,
I may call myself Jumpin' Jessica. That's because I really jump.
maybe we better go back to the study, Miss Akers.
Yes, Mr. Morlock.
Closing quotations, Mr. Morlock.
Allied Gas on a fraction. Vanderbilt Roads and Company on an eighth. 20th Century Steel on a fourth. Holy smoke, we're ruined. Ruined!
That's why a kid like me is to be pitied. I saw myself in a movie. I bawled my eyes out. Friendless, hungry for love, facing a cold, cruel world with nothing but money. It's rough. Doorbell Mildred, I'm a kid, just starved for love, attention. The story of Jessica Morlock. She was a good kid, Jessica, but she was hungry all her droll and eventful life. Hungry for attention. Her father was vice president of Brubaker, concerned only with making money. And her poor mother was lonely and heartbroken. She too was craving the love of money-mad Morlock, was once a dear husband and father and companion. Jessica, poor kid, lived a drab existence, trotting from the mansion in the country to the mansion in the city, all the time, wishing for youthful companionship, especially with boys.
Is that the doorbell or the phone? 24 hours a day, them things ring. If I ever have me a house of my own, I ain't gonna have no doorbell. Matter of fact, I don't think I'm even gonna have a door. I just get tired of opening and closing.
If someone wants me, which they never do, I'll be upstairs, probably taking arsenic.
Well, what do you want?
I'm a come to talk for Joe.
Well, you can't come in. Mr. Morlock don't allow no bums in the house. Not even my boyfriend Luther.
But I'm not the bum. I'm a Luigi Lanacorni and I'm a coming to talk for Joe.
Oh, Sir Joe's father.
I'm a little Joe's papa. Only he's a not the little no more. He's a nearly grown man. And I'm gonna say, Mr. Morlock, I'm a Luigi Lanacorni, papa of a Joe. Now to make the both the happy, if maybe my son and your daughter could be wed.
Well, Mr. Morlock's busy. Mr. Morlock's always busy. If days lasted 30 hours, he'd still be busy.
Then I'll just wait. I'll wait till I can have a nice long talk.
Suit yourself. Mr. Morlock's in there with Mr. Blue and Miss Akers. And once that bunch gets together, they don't take time off for nobody.
Just to tell him I'm here. Mr. Morlock, sir, I'm a Luigi Lanacorni and I'm a comer to talk for Joe. I'm a comer to talk for him because he'll make you the proudest son-in-law. My boy Joe, he's gonna make us something someday. Gonna be maybe president, yeah, that's it. All the country will look at my Joe and say, there goes a Joe Lanacorni and his wife married. Finest couple in America, they'll make my Joe and you're married.
Hi.
Excuse me? I thought it was just to talk to myself.
Oh, that's all right. Don't worry about me. Go right ahead.
I'm gonna just rehearse my speech I'm gonna give to Mr. Morlock.
Oh, is you Joe's papa? I'm Jessica Morlock, Mary's sister.
I'm glad to know you.
Just anything you want to know about Mary, ask me. We've been sisters ever since we were born, and you know how sisters are.
I'm gonna come to speak to Papa.
Joe's a swell guy, but Papa don't like him. That's all there is to it. He don't like him because he isn't rich. He don't like anyone unless they have a bankroll a mile long. I hate to see the creep he'll present me with. He'll come home tonight and say, Jessica, here's your future husband. You two will be married as soon as he regains consciousness. I want ever get a chance to marry for better or for worse. It'll be for heads or tails.
But my boy Joe, he's a nicer boy.
Yeah, he's good looking too. But Papa won't say yes, I'll tell you that right now. He never agrees with the rest of us. In fact, he never even pays us any attention. None of us, not even Mom. All he thinks about is money. You ever see anyone like that? The foundation of Papa's will is long and green. Listen, he hardly knows I exist. He don't even know what grade I'm in.
And to what a grade are you in?
Come to think of it, I don't know myself. But I'll probably have a complete mess of crops in a year or two anyway. So what's the difference? Hey, look at that, would ya?
What up?
And my muscle, see it? I've been developing it for weeks. I've done everything but feed and milk. I'm gonna be a wrestler. Papa's gonna drop dead when it finally dawns on him.
Then maybe he'll give us permission for the wedding, huh?
I doubt it. He
you ever have a husband that didn't even know you existed? No, I guess not. Anyway, that's what Mom thinks. We're just pieces of furniture as far as he's concerned.
That's terrible.
You think it isn't? Oh, he speaks to us now and then. When I had the measles, he came in the door and asked how I was feeling. When I fell out of a tree on my head, he looked in the doorway twice. Or was it once? I distinctly saw him twice, but if I remember right, it was both at the same time. I hadn't fully recovered from the fall on my head yet.
Well, I saw him.
Susan, could I maybe speak to him?
No, he ain't seeing nobody.
Why will Mom be home, Mildred?
I don't know. I don't have any idea. All I do is work here.
When can I see him?
Didn't you hear me say all I do is work here? You don't see me going around asking questions. I told him you was here and he grunted.
That's bad.
That's good. Most people he don't even grunt for.
Tell me, Mildred, what do you think about two people getting married?
Oh, no, you don't. I've seen guys like you. You answer one of them leading questions, then boom, you start trying to hold my hand. Well, oh no, I do work.
Even South Dakota Central is down in points. So is Consolidated Canneries Incorporated. So is Midwest Borscht. We'll probably lose even more than $51,000. Probably even lose our shirts.
You're wrong, Mr. Morlock.
I'm what?
Well, what I mean is if you lose your shirt, you should probably be in the tailoring business.
It isn't funny, George. We reached a crisis. The future of Brubaker and Brubaker hinges on our next moves. Whether we go up or down depends on us. We're abreast of the pendulum, George, and you stand around making jokes. Jokes!
Don't lose your temper too, Mr. Morlock. It's enough that you lose $52,845
$51,000, and don't argue.
On paper, it's $52,845.
You're fired. Out the door.
And 50 cents.
Excuse me, Mr. Morlock. I'm a Luigi Lanacorni and I come to talk for Joe.
Don't get upset, Mr. Morlock. You'll start having your pains again.
Heaven forbid. Not those pains. Not those horrible, excruciating pains.
You must relax, Mr. Morlock. Take things easy.
Thank you, Miss Akers. You're right, I will. Now, where were we?
We just lost $52,845.
Oh, George! George, the stocks we choose for tomorrow must win. They must pay off. We're in that business. Now, what looks the best to you?
Oh, right offhand, I'd say Miss Akers looks the best to me.
I mean stocks.
I'm sorry. In case I was thinking about something else.
You'll either think about this or you'll be thinking about a new job. One of the two. You're my advisor, my assistant, my attorney. You take charge on all legal matters. And what have you ever done? Nothing.
Well, that's because you haven't done anything legal yet, Mr. Morlock.
You're fired. You're both fired. I'm sick and tired of you both. I've employed a couple of comedians. I can do better by myself. I'm having my pains again. My pains.
Don't, Mr. Morlock. We'll help you to a chair.
Just relax and take things easy, Mr. Morlock.
Excuse me, Mr. Morlock. I come to talk for Joe.
We'll look over Jones and Company and maybe Smith and Smith.
They should be sure things for you. Mr. Morlock.
Could I please maybe speak to you for just a second?
We've got to do better tomorrow and the next day.
Yes, Mr. Morlock.
You're right, Mr. Morlock.
We've got to get back to work.
If you don't take life easy, Mr. Morlock, you'll die.
I'm too busy to die. Don't have time for such nonsense. I'm a responsible man in a responsible position.
Excuse me, Mr. Morlock. I come to talk for Joe.
I'm afraid this ain't a very good time to speak to Papa, Mr. Luigi. He's sort of upset, I think.
Maybe I should have waited till he cools down, huh?
Might be a good idea. You can go out to the garden, and I'll show you around the place.
It's a good idea. Your father's a very busy man.
You think he isn't? It's just this way, 8 days a week.
Mildred! You calling me, Mrs. Morlock?
Are the children home?
Jessica was right in here a minute ago, and Joe and Mary ain't got back yet.
And don't say ain't, Mildred.
Well, they ain't. And if I said anything else, I'd tell them to lie.
Is Mr. Morlock here?
Oh, he's in there with Mr. Blue and Miss Akers, and he's been ranting around for the past hour.
As usual.
I've got an idiot for an assistant, an idiot for an attorney, an idiot for an advisor. It's beyond me how one man can be so many idiots.
Hello, Philip.
Good evening, Hazel. He's bungled again.
Must you work every night, Philip? Can't you put it off until morning?
I'm going to the club in the morning. The only relaxation I have is when I shoot pool with the boys at the club.
I was hoping we could go to the country tomorrow.
I've already called the club. Homer Van Shark III is going to be there. So is the French champion, Cooley the Cute. However, Hazel, I think we can find someone to dive into the country.
No, Philip. Just forget I mentioned it.
I do wish you had time for your family just a little, Philip.
Uh-huh.
We were happy when we had that house out at the edge of town. We used to have that garden, and you measured the beans every morning to see how much they grew from the night before. We were happy even though there wasn't money for the bills. Philip,
Huh?
do you remember when we were first married?
I do.
You do?
I certainly do. The justice of the peace picked my pocket before I could get out of the house. Then and there, I swore I'd never get married again.
Why don't we go on sort of a second honeymoon, Philip?
What in the world for?
For us, for you, for me. We haven't really been together in years. Things aren't at all like they used to be. Why don't we take a trip together?
Well, I guess we could.
Do you need that, Philip?
Sure. If it suits George, it suits me. But of course, he might not want to go.
George?
Oh, we can't go without George. I wouldn't think of leaving everything in his hands.
But I meant just the two of us.
Don't be ridiculous.
I'm sorry, Philip.
Of course, that doesn't keep you from taking a trip. You can go anywhere you want. Bermuda, England, France. Take Jessica, Mary, even Mildred. I don't care. No? Do you shake your head? No? Women. I can't understand them. Midwestern Electric. Closed even. Oh, George!
Hi, Mom.
Hello, dear. How are you, Joe?
Just fine, Mrs. Morlock.
Mother, have you been crying?
Crying? Why, of course not.
No, Mom. You never could fool me, and you know it. Now sit here and please tell me all about it.
It's nothing, dear, really.
It was Father, wasn't it?
We merely had a discussion, that's all.
It wasn't about Joe and me, was it, Mom?
No, dear.
Has he said any more about our getting married?
No, he hasn't. Not since you spoke with him last week.
Think he might have changed his mind by now?
I'm afraid not, Joe. He hasn't changed on anything for 10 years. That was when he made his big change. His love went from his family to his money, and it's been there ever since.
Well, maybe if I talk to him again. Tried every way in the world to reason with him, though. Even went to him on bended knee. People think I was proposing to him instead of Mary.
Well, all I've got to say is that it's time we had a showdown. There's no sense in your father taking such a selfish, ridiculous attitude. Philip!
Think I better hide?
You stay right where you are. Philip! Philip, hold on!
All right. Don't knock down the house. Well, what is it?
We would like to speak to you for a moment if you'd be so kind as to crawl out of your hole.
Can I be of any assistance?
Well, Mr. Morlock.
Oh, you two. The answer is still no. Please stand aside, Hazel. Hazel, you're in my way. I have business in there.
You have business out here too, Philip. Important business. It concerns these two young people who intend to get married. It would be much simpler for all concerned if you'd give your permission.
I've told you how I feel on the matter. I've told everyone in the house how I feel. If a newspaper man were here, I'd tell him too. This is my house. I'm the head of my house. I will not give my permission for a marriage that has absolutely no foundation or no reason for being. So please stand aside, Hazel, and let me return to my work.
But it does have a reason for being, Father. A very good reason.
Sir, I love your daughter.
Joe, what a wonderful speech.
Young man, you may not be aware of it. And a marriage can be based on only one thing, money.
We were happy for a long time without it, Philip.
Nonsense. We just thought we were happy. We were just a couple idiotic kids, that's all.
Philip!
Please, Father.
No, I won't stand for it. You'll find someone who can support you, Mary. You're crazy if you'll think I'm going to let you marry a pauper.
My Joe is not a pauper.
Yeah.
Mr. Lanconi.
I haven't been a stand here with Jessica and I heard what was said.
So you're Joe's dad.
I'm a Joe's papa. I hear you don't want Joe to marry your daughter, so I came to talk for him.
Please, Dad, this is no concern of yours.
It is a concern of mine. When your mama died, she gave the last request. Luigi, you take good of care of the boys. So I take good of care. I try to raise the boys right. Now, my boy Joe, you want to marry your daughter, so I came here to talk for him.
I'll bet you came to talk for him. Wouldn't that suit you just fine? What's your occupation, Mr. Lanconi?
I'm a meat cutter.
A meat cutter. Well, ain't that just dandy? I can see it all now. Miss Mary Morlock, daughter of the Philip Morlock, vice president of Brubaker and Brubaker, joined in holy wedlock with Joe Lanconi, son of Luigi Lanconi, a meat cutter. That's the funniest thing I've ever heard.
Is it no laughing matter? It's a serious thing.
From your standpoint, it is. From mine, it's ridiculous and hilarious.
Philip, please.
And don't Philip please me, Hazel. This is the first good laugh I've had in years. It's the most stupid thing I've ever heard of. I'd be the laughing stock of my club, of the whole town.
When I marry Martha,
Please, Dad.
and don't you start to please the stuff either, Joe. I'm your pop and I come here to talk for you.
But you can't talk without losing your temper, Dad.
And what if I do? I'm gonna knock his block off, that's all. As I'm gonna start to say. When Martha and me got married, we didn't even have a job, not even a cent. But we got married anyhow, and we were happy. Then I get the job of cut of meat, and we were really happy. 2 years later, we have our first son. We give him common American name, Angelo. Next year, we have a little Joey, finest young man in America. He no smoker, no cusser, no taking a drink.
Look, old man, you just about give up and go peddle your papers somewhere else.
I'm old man, maybe, but I'm not a peddle papers. I'm a cut of the meat. And if I had my meat cutter here, why, I'd chop off your head and feed it to the birds.
Come on, you better get ready.
And then I'll go home. And I'll lose my temper. If my shirt had a sleeves, I'd roll them up.
Just whom do you think you'd fight?
I'd fight you, you big schmoo, and a sandbag creator, Joe. Before I had a Martha, I had 7 fights, including her papa twice. And he was bigger than you, both the times.
Philip, for goodness
He
sake.
started it.
I'll referee.
I'm gonna knock his blocks off for Joe and to marry him.
What's wrong? Can't you take it?
All right, it's just,
Come on now, you better get home. You're too old to be acting like a little kid.
I'm not acting like a little kid, I'm not too old. I'm gonna knock his block off.
I'd be ashamed, right?
He will be when he gets home.
I'm gonna go home.
Come on now, we're gonna take you to see the doctor.
I'm not gonna see the dog.
Joe, is it?
This is hard.
Oh, golly!
I'm not gonna see the dog.
Joe, I'm going with you.
You're staying right here, Mary.
Mother, I'm going with Joe. Luigi may need us.
All right, Mary.
Come on, Dad.
It's an outrage, that's what it is, an outrage. With a daughter who won't even mind her father, it's time steps were taken. And I'll take those steps.
You'll do nothing of the kind, Philip.
I certainly will. If Mary ever sees that Joe fellow again, it'll be over my dead body.
Well, he inspired me, he did. Jessica, he said, Jessica, you can't have anything in this world unless you work and strive for it. And I'm going out to my room right now. I'm going to work and strive. He inspired me.
A lot he knows about having anything in this world. He doesn't have a thing, not one thing. I should have bodily kicked him out of the house.
You talked to him, me too, and then you beat up on him.
I did nothing of the kind. He couldn't take it. He knew I packed a mean punch. And he's no sicker than I am either. He thought if he dropped in his tracks, I'd say, yeah, sure, carry away my daughter, help yourself to my possessions. Here's my checkbook. I'm wise to his kind.
You're wise to the world, you are.
The trouble with you, Hazel, is that you take everything too seriously. You should be more like me.
Philip, must you go around insulting everyone? A lot you care. A lot you care about anything. Poor fellow. Did you see that pained expression on his face?
He was probably born with it. I see cases like him every day. They come into the office with things from gold mines to inventions, and each one has an act just a little different. But I'm proud to say I'm intelligent enough to separate the wheat from the chaff, and that was the plainest case of chaff I've ever seen. My pains! I'm having my pains again.
I'm surprised that a superhuman specimen like you would be susceptible to pain.
It's all this excitement. Horrible creatures like that shouldn't be allowed to run loose in the world.
He's a nice little old man.
Nice?
And he has a nice son. Joel will graduate with distinction at college this spring.
If he comes around here again, he'll have the distinction of being kicked right out of this house, he will.
Please try to be a little more sensible and understanding. He used to be quite hard to sleep.
Here we go again. I've given you money, fine friends, security, a social position, everything. But that isn't enough. I'd say I've been quite a success not only as a man, but as a husband and father too. Yes, sir.
15 years ago, I might have agreed with you, but no more. You're the most egotistical man I've ever seen, and the most cold and cruel and heartless one too. I finally decided to do something tomorrow I should have done years ago. I'm leaving.
Huh, you decided to take the trip, huh?
And I'm not coming back.
And just who do you think you're trying to fool?
I'm leaving in the morning, Philip.
Let me remind you that 90% of the women in this world would love to change places with you. They'd like to have a husband like me. Yes, sir. The trouble with me is that I'm just not appreciated. Me, Philip Morlock, Vice President of Brubaker and Brubaker. Oh, my pains. I'm having them again.
About ready to finish those letters, Mr. Morlock?
Just as soon as I finish my pains.
Let's suggest you stay lying on the sofa, Mr. Morlock.
You're not being paid to make suggestions, Miss Akers.
Well, I'm sorry, Mr. Morlock.
Everyone's always making suggestions. They should take more and give less, especially with a vice president around. Oh.
I'd suggest you get some sleep once in a while, Mr. Morlock.
Oh, you what?
Yes, sir, I would. All you do is work, and groan, even up into the middle of the night.
I can't sleep. You know that. I've got insomnia. I tried to count sheep. No good. I count horses. Still no good.
Well, you might try counting your money. I've heard if people count their money long enough, they either go to sleep or pay, provided they ain't want them in the first place and counting their money too much already.
Mildred, are you editorializing?
Oh, no,
works. Person can't sleep, he can't sleep. I got too much in my mind, too many pains, too many people trying to tell me what to do. And a lot of sympathy I get, too. No consolation, no kind words from my family. All I get from them is bills and more bills. I made a success of myself, and of them. I've given them everything they could ever want. And what do I ever get in return? Nothing. No wonder I can't sleep, can't relax, can't eat what I want.
Phone, Mildred. Don't answer the phone, Mr. Morlock.
I do believe he's asleep. And without pouring up all those sleeping tablets on him. Why, George, this is an oddity.
Hello? Oh, yes, Miss Morlock, this is Miss Akers. Your brother isn't down here just now. Shall I call her? Yes, I'll give her a message. Who? Luigi Lanconi? Yes, I'll tell her.
What is it, Miss Akers?
Somebody by the name of Luigi Lanconi. Mary said he collapsed on the way to the hospital and died before they could get him there.
Not really. The poor little fellow.
Friend of the family?
It was Joe's father, Mary's fiancé.
He is not Mary's fiancé. If he is, it's over my dead body.
How could you, Philip? How could you be so mean?
Can I help it if he had a bad heart? Great jumping horses, I'm no doctor. All I could have given him is an aspirin.
You killed him just the same as if you'd taken a gun and shot him down in cold blood.
I'm crying out loud. Oh, my pains.
I'd have pains if I were you, too. That's all for tonight, Miss Akers and George. You can go home.
Says who? We still got work to do. Gods of work.
You're sleepy, Mr. Morlock.
I'm vice president of Brubaker & Brubaker, and we have work to do.
Yes, Mr. Morlock.
Yes, Mr. Morlock.
The coldest man I've ever seen. Poor Luigi.
There's plenty of people like him in the world anyway. If you ask me, he's better off dead.
Philip!
I didn't kill him. Holy smoke, what do they think I am? He masked the whole of his own races. You start anything, keep it up. Always push forward. Never turn back.
That's why I come back to talk for Joe.
Luigi, they say you were dead.
That's right. I'm dead as a doornail.
Oh, you're dead.
I'm gonna come back to talk for Joe.
Oh, no.
When I wake up in a stranger place, they say, Luigi, you're dead. But I'm not dead, I say. Then they show me the report. At 9 o'clock, Luigi Lanconi is a drop of dead. Is a depart from the world. Then they ask if I have the last request. One thing, Your Majesty, I would just like to stay with the man until he gives us permission for a wedding.
No, it can't be. It's a trick.
Then it comes a special wire. Luigi Lanconi. Request granted. Best of luck on your mission. Then I find myself here to talk for Joe.
Hazel! Hazel!
No need to call for a Hazel. She won't even be able to see me. Nobody can see me.
No, this can't be. Things like this just don't happen. Spirits don't really come back from the dead and haunt people.
Luigi's not a haunt to nobody. Luigi's just gonna stay right here until you say, sure, Joe can I marry my daughter Mary, and your daughter Joe can I marry my daughter Mary.
This is an outrage. If you think I'm gonna stand around and be haunted by a two-bit ghost, you're crazy. Soft in the head. If you don't leave real quiet and peaceful like I'm afraid I'm gonna throw you right out of the house.
I'm gonna stay right here until you give me your permission.
Terrible. Look, Luigi, I'm asking you in a nice way to go home and stop playing games. I'm in no mood to play. You look just as alive as you ever did, and if you don't go, I'll sue. For heaven's sakes. Look, Luigi. Things like this don't happen. This is some trick, that's what it is. You and Joe and Mary are just playing tricks, that's what you're doing. George! George! George, I want to start a lawsuit against this man for $500,000.
What man?
That man sitting right there.
Mr. Morlock, you promised your doctor.
I am merely stating that we are going to press charges against that man sitting right there.
Yes, Mr. Morlock, that's what we thought you said.
We'll sue him like no one's ever been sued before.
Excuse me, Mr. Morlock, but which chair is he sitting in?
That one right there.
There? Mr. Morlock, there's nobody sitting on this sofa.
You're crazy. You're both crazy. Besides that, you're fired. Completely fired. Out the door. And take him with you. Look, Luigi, I'm going to count to 5. And if you're not out of here by then, I'll sue. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Maybe he can't count. He goes 10.
This is terrible. An outrage. And I'm Philip Morlock, Vice President of Brubaker & Brubaker. Mean haunted.
come to you. I mean, Philip Ulysses. I'll put you to bed.
What's the use? I'll never sleep again.
Go ahead. I'll just turn in down here and see you in the morning.
I'll entertain your little ghost while you're gone.
Miss Akers, I don't allow my secretaries to flirt with strange ghosts.
Oh, I'm not your secretary anymore, remember? You fired me.
Well, I just hired you again. And please move. He has his head in your lap.
He does have tender.
I warned you, Miss Akers. I'm not responsible for a thing that happens.
Well, I'm not worried about a perfectly innocent little old ghost. When they're alive, I'm worried.
Unhand me, George.
Mortal life was never like this.
What in the world's happened, Hazel?
It's Philip, Dr. Brown. He happens he sees things.
I thought so.
He's in the study.
I tell you it's an outrage. Mandolita once, out of my sight. Preposterous, that's what it is. Ridiculous, stupid, abominable. Out the door.
For heaven's sake.
It's been going on like this for 2 hours. We thought maybe he'd wind up down here in the study and go to sleep, but no. He talks and shows all night long.
I'm just gonna stay right here till you give me your consent.
It's blackmail, that's what it is.
He evidently thinks he's being blackmailed.
Which one of the little animals been crawling out of Philip?
I'm not seeing little animals, just one big one, and he crawled in the hole over there in the wall with a door on it.
Let me see your tongue.
Here we go again.
Take off your shirt.
I'm not going to take my shirt off.
Go ahead like he says and take your shirt off.
Who do you think you are ordering me around?
I'm your doctor, Philip.
Go ahead, he's your doc.
Drop dead!
What a terrible way to talk to Dr. Brown.
I'm not talking to Dr. Brown. Oh, for heaven's sakes. Look, Doc, did you ever hear of Luigi Lanconi?
Yeah.
Luigi Lanconi. Oh, sure. He was that little fella they brought down to the hospital tonight.
You're right. For once in your life, you're right. Well, that's him right there. That's who I've been talking to. Only you can't see him. Just me. And I'm so mad I can spit fire.
I better have a talk with you, Hazel. Do you see anyone? I mean, besides us. Anyway, this Luigi fellow was quite dead when they got him down to the hospital.
Of course he was dead.
Philip, don't shout.
That's what I've been trying to tell you. And he's still dead. Stone dead. Only you can't see him. Oh, it's a situation.
How long has this been going on?
For 2 or 3 hours. We've been trying to get him to sleep, but it's no use. He just talks and shows all, letting on.
It's bad enough being haunted by a regular ghost, but I have to get rid of the hole in his head.
He finally wound up down here in the study. We thought maybe he'd go to sleep in there, but no, he just talks and shows.
You're an idiot. A moron. You're even worse dead than alive.
It must be his conscience, Philip. I mean, he and Luigi had sort of a run-in tonight over Joe and Mary getting married. Luigi had a bad spell with his heart. I don't know.
That might be Hazel. Something's certainly gone wrong somewhere along the line. Is he irrational? What's 2 and 2, Philip?
You think I'm crazy, don't you? That's what you think. Well, I'm not crazy, see? 2 and 2 is 4. 4 and 4 is 8. 8 times 8 is 64. Columbus sailed the ocean blue in 1492.
Philip.
The average weight of a squirrel is 1.5 pounds. An elephant's heart weighs about 25 pounds. Provided, of course, he's reached full-grown elephanthood and isn't terminated to smaller elephant strains. And alfalfa was first introduced in Italy in the 1st century A.D.
That's fine, Philip.
Topeka is the capital of Kansas. Lincoln is the capital of Nebraska. Little Rock is the capital of... what's Little Rock the capital of?
California.
California. I'm crazy.
Yes, Philip. I'll get him into the study and give him an examination.
I'm not going to be examined in front of him.
Go ahead, I'll hide my eyes.
No more privacy than a goldfish. Look, Doc, there's no need for an examination. I'm perfectly all right. It's just that idiot of Luigi can't die like a normal person. As soon as he gives up the ghost, everything will be all right. No.
How is he, Mother? Dr. Brown's examining his study. I've never seen anything like this in my life.
I never have either. Poor little old Luigi. Joe's gonna take it mighty hard, Mother. He was such a wonderful little old man.
He inspired me, that's what he did.
Jessica, what in the world are you doing up?
I just couldn't sleep. I'm gonna be the world champion female wrestler, I am, just for him.
Jessica, for heaven's sake.
Well, I am, and I've got my book right here. I'm starting on page 1.
But not at 1 o'clock in the morning, dear. Now go back up to bed.
I might wake Miss Akers, the airplane spin, or kangaroo kick right there in bed. Poor girl never The one spot to hit a man, but wanting to knock him out, is right behind the ear. A blow here, properly placed, is equal to a 50-pound weight dropped atop his head. Oh, George! Do you believe in ghosts? Every young person needs to give someone his first big start. Now let's see. About a degree to the left, that's it. Hey, that's okay! I'm loaded, man alive!
What in the world happened to him?
I just lowered the boom on him, Miss Akers. I'm loaded.
George, wake up.
Someone,
Help Mr. Morlock, Doctor.
someone get a blanket. He's gonna spend the night in the study.
I'll get one, Doctor. I'm loaded. I've got muscles.
I can't find anything wrong with him but the usual. He's dissipated, worn out, has pains, high blood pressure, ulcers, dyspepsia, palpitation of the heart, arthritis, rheumatism, hardening of the arteries. Nothing out of the ordinary. We can just get him to sleep. Perhaps tomorrow he'll be his old natural self.
Oh, even that's bad enough.
Miss Akers, that is no way to talk about poor Mr. Morlock when he isn't able to defend himself.
Have you ever seen him when he was?
Here's the blanket, Dr. Brown.
Thanks, Jessica.
Any word? Miss Morlock's going to spend the night in the study. Did you find what was wrong?
Nothing but the usual.
I've never seen anything like this in my life.
I have. Once. My great uncle Rodney, just before he died, he saw all kinds of little people. People with horns and tails and pitchforks, horrible little faces and shapes.
Ooh, how ghastly. Maybe he'd been reading the funnies.
How is he, Dr. Brown?
I gave him a sedative and he was quiet when I left. I'll leave a few in case he's wakeful during the night.
What do you think, Doctor?
Well, it's kind of hard to say.
Could it be his mind?
We'll know more about this in the morning. I'll be over first thing. Good night, Mrs. Morlock.
Night, night.
This Uncle Rodney man I was talking about, seems he's always been a sort of scoundrel, went around cussing and raising no neck. Well, he took sick and started seeing these little creatures and started shouting and kept shouting until the next morning. Then all was quiet. Uncle Rodney was dead.
You think maybe Philip?
No, Mom. Everything's gonna be all right. It's just his conscience.
Poor little old Luigi. He was such a wonderful little old man. Never harmed us all in his little life. Just something wrong. I think I better go to bed.
Believe me, Miss Morlock, just holler. If he gets groggy, you're on ahead and starts busting up the furniture. Just yell.
Are you coming up?
In just a minute, I'll stay down here for a while. You guys go to bed too, Jessica?
Well, in a minute, Mom. Mom,
What is it?
why does Luigi have to die?
He's just like everyone else, dear.
But he isn't just like everyone else. He was the most wonderful little fellow I've ever met. He was good and kind. Not at all like Papa.
Jessica, that's no way to talk.
Well, it's the truth.
Whether it is or isn't, you shouldn't say it. Now march right up to bed.
What a fool we have a world. I'm punished if I tell a lie, and I'm punished if I tell the truth.
Stop! Don't! Cut it out! Get out!
Oh, dear. What in the world's the matter now, Philip?
He kicked me out of bed!
I'm not to kick you out of bed. Luigi's not to kick nobody out of bed.
Philip, go back to bed.
How can I sleep when this bird right here keeps pulling the covers off me and then kicks me out of bed?
Philip.
I'm not to kick you out of bed. Anyway, you was on my side.
You didn't have a sign.
What's he talking to, Mama?
Jessica, go back to bed.
He pulled the covers off me 17 times.
Philip.
Oh, fooling me. I'll pound your face in.
Mama, is Papa crazy?
You'll have pounded my face and over my dead body.
It's necessary, yes.
Mama, has Papa lost his marbles?
Jessica, go to bed. We've got to get him to sleep. I'll get some sleep and fill some water.
I could put him to sleep, Mom. Papa. I'm here, Papa. Now bend over. Bend over. A little more. That's it.
Jessica, what are you doing?
I was just going to put Papa to sleep like you said.
Jessica, go to bed. Now, Philip, take. What are you doing now?
I'm sitting on the floor. What do you think?
What are you doing that for?
Maybe he's looking for his marbles.
Jessica, go up there.
He's definitely lost them.
Jessica!
Now, Philip, get up and take a couple of these.
What are they?
They're pills Dr. Brown left. They'll help you sleep. Go to bed now, Philip.
I'll never get any sleep with monkey face around.
For heaven's sakes.
Then take the whole bed. See if I care. I'll sleep in here. Anything to get away from that lame brain. Stupid ghosts like him shouldn't be allowed to run loose in the world. He's liable to blow us right off the face of the earth.
Mr. Morlock, sir?
Oh, no, not again.
Mr. Morlock, I don't want you to think I'm going to try to make you mad, because I'm not. I'm going to just come back to talking for Joe. You will listen to Mr. Morlock?
No, I'm asleep.
My boy Joe. He's a fine boy. He no smoking, no cussing, no taking the drink. He'll make a wonderful husband.
Why don't you drop dead?
I'm going to keep telling you I've already dropped the dead, and I'm going to come back to talking for Joe. And I'm going to keep coming back until you say yes. My boy Joe. He's a hard-working young fellow, and would have worked 40 times harder if he had married. Ah, Mary, what a beautiful young girl. So sweet, so charming. Tell me, Mr. Morlock, how did a guy like you ever have a daughter like her? It's a big a puzzle. The world isn't full of big a puzzles. Is a puzzle how you ever tricked into getting a wife like you got? Is a puzzle how fools like you ever trick her in the first place? And in the second place, is a puzzle how a human being can turn out to be a complete to nothing like you do.
Father, are you still awake?
How do you expect me to sleep when this moron keeps sitting on the cover?
Father, there's no one sitting on your blanket. Here you go.
Jerk.
Now please don't have the power.
I'll never get any sleep as long as he keeps putting his best foot forward.
Here, Father, take one of these. Dr. Brown said these pills will put you right to sleep.
I don't care if old man Carter himself said it. No, that's enough. I've had it. I'm leaving.
Mr. Morlock, sir, where are you going?
I'm going to a hotel. I can't stand any more of that.
Any more what?
That horrible snoring. I take the sleeping pills and he sleeps. He's driving me mad. Hear it?
I don't hear a thing, Mr. Morlock.
You're deaf. Deaf as a peanut. Either that or you're crazy. I hate to say it, George, but I think you flipped your staff.
Yes, Mr. Morlock.
Oh, never heard anything like that.
Take a sleeping pill.
Sorry, Gustavo, I never heard anything like it.
I'll go to bed, Mr. Morlock.
I'll sleep in here. I can't sleep in there. Sounds like he's blasting for lead.
You try to rest, Mr. Morlock?
Rest? I should live so long. Help! Help! Wait, I'm lucky to be alive.
What are you doing now?
He's walking in his sleep, George. Get out of his way, I'll trample you. Hurry up! Get up here!
What are you two doing?
We're playing games. We just stand meeting.
Stand right there, Hazel. Don't move.
We just walk me into sleep.
Yeah, but someone's getting some sleep around here.
Quick, Hazel, run for shelter. And always look both ways before crossing.
Get off the sofa, Philip.
Gone now. Nothing to be afraid of. Unless he comes back.
I know Mrs. Morlock. He's barely rational at all.
What gripes me the most is that he's the one that's sleeping. And I'll never get any sleep.
We'll fix that.
Remind me to fire you first thing in the morning, George. Better yet, I'll fire you right now. Unhand me, George.
Are you awake too, Mother?
Mary, are you still up?
Yeah. I just can't sleep. I kept thinking about poor little old me. And Joe. He was all that Joe ever had, and now he's all alone.
Except for you, dear.
Father will never give us permission for the wedding. I don't believe there's another man like him in the whole world.
Well, I think he'll be quiet for a while now.
Why, George? Never seen anything like this in my life.
Never seen a case like this before. Except my Uncle Rodney. He was a low-living scoundrel. Built at the old neck he was. Pulled over everybody he knew or saw. When he kicked off, man alive, I never saw such celebrating. There were only 5 relatives at the funeral. The rest were having the time of their lives. Well, guess I'll be going back to bed. Whistle if I need it.
Okay.
Good night.
Did you sleep either, Mildred?
Sleep on a night like tonight.
You might look on Mr. Warlock and see if he can sleep before you go back up.
Yes.
Now he's awake. And he's even worse awake than asleep. Oh, I'm having terrible pains. I never had such pains. And I can't sleep. I've tried everything. I've counted sheep like mad. Black sheep, orange sheep, purple sheep, green sheep. I'm going crazy counting sheep.
If something would only happen, Mother, if Father would only break down.
Oh.
He'll never break down, dear. He's a hard, cruel man. The closest he'll come to a breakdown is the nervous kind, and he'd still say no.
You bet I would. I'll have no daughter of mine marrying a peasant. I've worked and struggled and pushed for my position. Oh.
You know, Mary, I've been thinking this evening. Why don't you and Joe go ahead?
Do you mean that,
I
Mother?
certainly do.
Over my dead body you will.
We'll start making plans tomorrow. We may have the wedding next week. Okay.
This is an outrage. There'll be no weddings in this house. There'll be no elopings and anything unless I say yes. I'm the big wheel around here.
Just because you're a head shaped like a windmill, you think you're the big wheel.
And you stay out of it. It's no concern of yours.
Is a concern of mine.
We may have the wedding all ready by next week.
Okay.
Okay?
I can't wait to know Joe.
You won't get a cent, you won't. Not a cent. I've been a good husband and an ideal father. Hazel, Mary, march right down here immediately. Oh, I'm having terrible pains. If she gets married, it'll be over my dead body.
Which I think is just what it'll be.
Pipe down.
You're a dead and don't know it.
The blazes I am. I may be having terrible pains, but I ain't dead yet.
Mary and Hazel, they didn't even see you. You're like I am. You've gone and kicked the bucket.
No, this can't be.
You've had too many sleeping pills and too many pains.
You're kidding. Pulling my leg. Everyone's always pulling my leg. No pulse. No heartbeats. Holy smoke, I'm dead. Dead. Hazel. Mary.
No need to call up for a Hazel and a Mary. They won't even be able to see me. Nobody can see you.
This is ridiculous. Morlock? There, that proves I'm not dead. He spoke to me. He spoke to me.
Morlock, you've had it. You're as dead as they come.
Who are you?
I'm Lucifer, and where I come from, they don't say what's cooking, it's who's cooking. You see, I'm from down there. My job's trying to all the lost souls.
Lost souls. You can't mean me. I'm no lost soul.
Morlock, your soul is so far gone, we have to use radar.
No, this can't be. I'm dreaming. That's it. I'm having a dream. A nightmare. You're just part of my dream. There's Mildred. She'll know I'm not dead.
Never a peaceful moment. Always something to do.
Speak to me, Mildred.
Even gotta go in and CFO meathead is asleep.
Meathead? Mildred, you're fired. This is preposterous.
She's found you.
Okay, so there's been a mistake.
He's dead.
How can I be dead?
For one thing, too many sleeping pills. You're in just such bad condition you couldn't take it.
No, I can't be. I won't recognize it. I won't be a party to it. I just refuse to be dead.
I'll call funeral home.
The funeral home? What are you doing now?
I'm measuring you for horns.
I'm not going to give in. What a sad state of affairs. A fine turn of events. It's ridiculous, that's what it is.
One thing about it, Joe and Mary can get married and live happily ever after.
I'll think of something. I may be dead, but I'll get the last laugh. I'm not going down there until I see that things are fixed up the way I want them, see?
And that's why I'm gonna stay down here. I'm not gonna budge until I know my Joe is a happy.
And I'm not going down there until they realize once and for all who's boss. I got more sense dead than they have alive. It's ridiculous, that's what it is. It's an outrage. And I'm Philip Warlock, Vice President of Brubaker and Brubaker. I'm so mad I can spit.
Just a dust.
I suppose you could do better. I suppose you could spit maybe nails. This burns me up.
Doesn't know, it soon will, Morlock.
I fail to see anything humorous in what you just said. I think it's all very revolting. And for your information, Mr. Lucifer, I do not intend to go down there to that place.
Don't. A blessed little heart and flower head.
It's a little low-down underhanded trick. If they'd have warned me, I wouldn't have died.
We'll leave just as soon as our other party gets here. Someone's supposed to meet us here.
If you think my home is going to be a clearinghouse for people on their way down, you're crazy. Soft in the head. And I'm not going down there.
You're not?
I'm not. I'm not dressed for it.
Not dressed for it.
No. I was under the impression that down there they all wear tails. So I'm not going.
Just as you say, Your Majesty. But just to be on the safe side, I buy several jars of mentholatum. And I buy some marshmallows too. I just love toasted marshmallows.
For crying out loud. The more I think of it, the madder I get. Me, Philip Warlock, dead.
Here it is, down here in the obituary. Luigi Pietro Lanaconi, died last night at 9 o'clock. Beloved husband of a late Martha Lanaconi, beloved papa of a late Angelo Lanaconi, and is survived by a son, Joe. Poor Joe. Joe has missed me. He loved his papa.
Anything there about me? Nothing in obituaries. Surely they didn't leave me out. I'll sue the paper. I'll run them clear out of town. They can't do that to me.
Look on the front of page.
Headlines. Now this is more like it. Get a load of that, will ya?
Kid stuff. You should have seen it when I departed. Headlines that big.
Really?
I can see him now. Humphrey Dragwick, the first man in the land. Humphrey Dragwick, first man in the land to die in a gas chamber.
Listen to this. Philip Ulysses Morlock, commonly known to all his friends as plain old P.U. How do you like that? Commonly known to all his friends.
All the two of them.
Died last night at his home. Death was attributed to natural causes. Natural causes. I was murdered. Murdered like a rat. In cold blood. I'll hire the best detectives there are in the world. They'll fry for this.
When you say that, Morlock, bow.
A full column about me. Page 1. Headlines. That's Philip Morlock tycoon. One measly paragraph in obituaries. That's Luigi Lanconi, meat cutter. Ever think about dying and nobody cared, Luigi? That ever enter your mind?
My Joe cared a lot. He thought a lot of his of Papa.
And who's Joe? Oh, he's the one that wants to marry Philip Morlock's daughter. Well, he'll never do it.
There's nothing to keep him from it, and I'm here to see that you don't.
And I'm here to see that I do.
You! This the place? I'm Mr. Schmaltz. I'm supposed to meet you here.
Ah, Mrs. Schmaltz. I'm Mr. Lucifer.
How do you do, I'm sure.
And this is Mr. Morlock. He's going to be accompanying us on our trip.
Another man. How lovely.
Say hello to Mrs. Schmaltz, Mr. Morlock.
Hello.
You should feel proud of getting to know a man such as Mr. Morlock. It's not often that ordinary people receive such a great honor. He's a very great man, very important to you. Just ask him.
Really? Is that true, Mr. Morlock?
Certainly. I see no reason denying it.
Well, my goodness, but I'm happy about getting to go down with a man like you. See, I have a great fondness for men. I had 14 husbands, and they all died. Nobody knows this, but shh, I poisoned 13 of them. Isn't that something? People think I only killed 8, so I'm pretty important myself. You see, I'm the only woman in a 14-state area to be electrocuted. Isn't that something?
A finer pair of escorts you'll have, Mr. Morlock, and a birds of a feather flock together.
I'll appeal my case. I won't go down with these creatures. It's ridiculous, that's what it is. An outrage. I just won't stand for it. They'll have to go without me.
Come, Mrs. Schmaltz. Let us go stroll among the mortals.
I'm just dying to, Mr. Lucifer, and I need some sun. I'm gonna have to get used to the heat, though. It's been a cooler for the past 3 years.
Then come. I'll be back later, Brother Morlock, and I'll teach you amateurs some discipline regard for lower regions. As soon as word comes, we'll start our descent. See you, Morlock.
Toodaloo, Mr. Morlock. Mind if I call you a butch?
I never heard of anything like it before. What a fine kettle of fish. Oh, every time I think of it, I get so mad I can die. And believe me, if I was alive, I would.
Oh, they cut down the old pine tree.
Yeah, Brad.
Do you see Mother Mildred? No. Last I knew she was in the study.
See if she's in there now, would you?
Oh, no. I'm never going into that horrible room of death again. Oh.
Heavens, I didn't know he did have so much stuff. How are you feeling, Mother? Better, dear.
Oh, I'm tidying up the place, Mr. Warlock, just in case someone drops in, which I doubt very much if they do. I'm in mourning. Got on my black apron, and when I wear it to the funeral, it'll really be glad.
Have you seen Joel anymore? Just for a minute. Door, Mildred. Maybe knock him down.
Oh, looks like people can have some consideration for the dead around here. But no, they keep on ringing at the doorbell. Oh, come on in then. Give me your hat.
How do you do? I'm Mr. Black, friendly undertaker.
Undertaker?
I'm Mrs. Morlock, Mr. Black. My daughter Mary. Hello.
How do you do? I'm here about your husband, Mr. Morlock. It seems he died.
Died? How was murdered? Murdered in cold blood.
Yes, last night.
To get down to business, we have special rates for our funerals. I want to acquaint you with our special layaway plan here.
Hazel, I'm not going to be buried by an Indian undertaker like him. I'd imagine you move me immediately.
Or if you prefer, there's plan number 2, which is sort of pay as you go, if you get what I mean.
I wouldn't be caught dead in his establishment.
Well, I don't know. Anything.
Don't be hasty. It's very important, you know. I always say it's the most important time in his life, I do. Now, what do you want to bury him?
In a hurry, that's what. The sooner the better.
I mean, of course, retire.
He's got a purple trunks and an orange t-shirt. I'm sure he'd look quite charming in that.
Well, whatever.
Then there's the matter of a casket.
A casket? Do you hear that, Hazel? She was just planning on putting me away in a cheese crate, weren't you, Hazel?
I'm afraid I don't know too much about caskets.
Don't let her fool you. She practically lived in one until I came along and put her where she is today. That's gratitude for you.
How do they run, Mr. Black?
They have little motors in the back of them.
We can fix you up with about anything you want, Mr. Morlock, including another husband.
Oh, another husband? Hazel, I'd imagine you were this wolf doctor on the premises. I'd sooner disintegrate on a rocky hillside than be buried by a flathead like him.
Hi. Mother is very upset, Mr. Black. Can you come back and see us later? Who's that?
The undertaker here.
Yeah, you're just the man I wanted to see. Right now, I'm working on epitaphs. See? In memory of my father.
Hazel, my wonderful daughter, come to Papa.
Listen to this. The memory of Philip U. Morlock.
That's touching.
To the memory of Philip Ulysses Morlock. Papa's left this cold, cruel world for the land of milk and honey. He took from us his love and care, but he couldn't take his money.
Jessica!
Or, Papa dear has left us here to climb those golden stairs. Born a Morlock, died a Morlock. No runs, no hits, no errors.
Jessica, go up to your room immediately.
Yes, Mom. Or,
Jessica,
Papa's packed his suitcase for a better land, I suppose. But if he gets his directions mixed, he'll need his summer clothes. Will you come back and see us later, Mr. Clapp?
Well, I suppose so. Leave him put people away as they should be. Give him a good send-off.
I know a fellow that was in debt all his life, and when he died, he was still in the hole.
Jessica.
Father's attorney, Mr. Crew, can take care of all the financial matters, Mr. Black. Please see him about it.
Yes, ma'am. Just thought I'd drop by and see you wanted to bury you.
Standing up would be the ideal way.
Bye, Mrs. Morlock.
Why, Mr. Black?
That scoundrel, that wolf, I won't be buried by him, I won't. Rest in peace, they say. Other person, rest in peace. Another husband. If he buries me, it'll be the last thing he ever does. I won't stand for it. I'll hunt him from here to kingdom come. If it was New Year's, that'd be my revolution.
Don't you mean a resolution?
I mean revolution. I'll be turning over in my grave.
You best go up and get some rest.
I think I shall. But Gray's suit would look nice. He always looked nice in gray.
What's wrong with jeans? A football suit would be more appropriate. They always kick me around enough. Why bury me in any clothes at all? Why don't they throw in just plain me? It wouldn't be the first raw deal I've had. You can see what they thought of me.
It's your own fault.
Why don't they bury me in cement? That'd be one concrete thing they've done for me.
If you hadn't been such a fooey of a man, things would have been a different.
You're crazy. Crazy as a Lewis.
I'ma tell the truth. I'ma try to before you die, but it was just no use. You had a hard head. You wasn't to believe nobody but Philip Morlock was of any sense. I wish that somebody could have found some sense into your noodle.
And just who was gonna do the pounding?
I could have done it.
Well, you ain't never seen me that you can pound anything into me. You don't pack the gear.
I packed when I was alive and I still pack it.
You haven't changed a bit, Luigi Lanconi. You're just as hard-headed as ever.
I'm not hard-headed. I'ma just pound some sense into Martha, but you look so young.
Luigi, no one goes old in heaven.
I'm a figure gonna come.
I waited a long time, Luigi. I thought you were never going to be rich.
I had to look after Joe. He was only little then. Now he's a nearly grown man, and he's in love with a wonderful girl. That's her papa over there. This is my wife, Martha. She's a come down from heaven to take me back with her.
I'm glad to meet you.
He won't want to shake hands with you, Mama. We ain't a good enough for him. My Joe ain't a good enough for her to marry either. But she isn't all like him. She's a kind and a sweet and a pretty too. That's her now.
She's beautiful. Lovely. You must be a fine boy, Luigi. Have a girlfriend like her.
I tried to raise him like you would have, Mama.
No.
That's a him now.
Hold me tight, Luigi. I'll call her name. He looks just like you did when you were a young man, Luigi.
No wonder I never liked your
His shoulders, arms, everything, just like you were.
The weakling.
He looks worried. Poor boy.
You decided for sure about the funeral, Joe?
Yes, will be tomorrow, Mary. I hope someone comes. If there's no one there,
He'll be there, Joe. He had lots of friends.
you gotta come, Mary. For his sake, they've just got to.
Just like us, Luigi.
Just to like us.
Why don't you look through some of Dad's books and see if there's anything in there that you want?
See there? They can't even wait till the body's cold. They want to get rid of everything that ever belonged to me. They'll probably give away my plot in the cemetery before I'm ever crammed in.
I gather that you have them, and I know Mother feels the same way. And besides, some of the volumes might come in handy.
Sure, go on. Help yourself. Take everything you want. Take the desk. Take the wallpaper. Take the rugs.
Well, he does have some encyclopedias and all the works of Homer Bacon.
Sure, go on. Take anything you want. You'll get it soon enough anyway. Thought maybe they'd leave the study intact, just like I left it.
She'll make him a wonderful wife.
Just to like you was.
Morlock! Oh, Morlock!
Oh, no.
You much, we're back.
Better get yourself prepared, Morlock. We're pulling
not going.
He isn't going, he says. Bless his little heart and pointed head.
And I don't have a pointed head.
You will have, Morlock, you will have. Attention! Hey, you, Morlock! That means you. Get up.
For crying out loud.
Right now you're gonna learn how to start taking orders. Morlock, bend over and touch your toes. Get your condition. Ow! This is the worst I've ever seen. I knew they weren't particular, but this is the worst.
What's happening, Luigi?
Mr. Morlock's going down below. He didn't make the grade. His paper had nothing but red marks on it.
Ah, that's probably for me. Yes, this is Lucifer. Yeah, long distance? Yeah, I'll say it is. Hello, boss. Yes, boss. Sure, boss. Okay, boss. See you, boss. That was the boss. We'll be leaving right after the funeral. That'll be tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
Attention!
No, it can't be. I don't want to leave. Not my home, my family, my little wife, my daughters. No.
Fall in, Morlock!
Hazel, come get me. Dignitaries from all over the state were at the funeral of Philip U. Morlock this afternoon. Pallbearers included Arnold Brubaker of Brubaker, Fred Long of Long, Miller Upstein of Upstein and Upstein, J. Cransford of Cransford and Cransford, T. Marlowe of Marlowe, and W. Egbert of Egbert and Jones. How do you like that?
I was allayed to rest by all my older friends. There was Flophouse Louie, bless his heart, and Andy McDougal, the garbage collector, and Clancy O'Brien, the newspaper man. Clancy left us the newspaper business for me.
Newspaper business?
He had the best corner in town. Was it nice to see all my older friends? Wasn't it, Martha?
Some bunch of pallbearers I had, huh? Don't seem to remember them personally, but they must have been mighty important. A 12-foot monument will be erected in the memory of Mr. Morlock, who was one of the greatest financial wizards of the day. How do you like that? Me, a wizard.
Did you know Mr. Morlock was a lizard, Mama?
That's wizard! It will be erected for his outstanding work and contributions for his merit of service. Yes, sir, you should have been there, Luigi. My funeral was quite a blowout.
I wasn't too busy seeing all my older friends. Did you see all your older friends?
Sure did. There was a big crowd there. Mr. Let's see, what was his name? And and his wife was there too, or was she? And those people over on, wherever they lived. But all my friends were.
Go ahead. Name just the one.
Well, there was a big crowd there. Go ahead, they're in the paper. Look at that picture.
You don't have to know one of them.
Don't twirl.
I'ma not argue no more. I'ma just tell Blown-a-Face here that he didn't know anyone that was at his wedding. It was just a sightseer. And the people come because their boss has said so. He didn't even know the pallbearers.
I did too.
What was their name?
They're in the paper. Look them up yourself.
Oh, I'm a right.
You've never been right in your life.
I'm a right this time.
Are you inferring that I am wrong? Me, Vice President of Brubaker and Brubaker?
I'd rather be right than a vice president.
Don't argue, Luigi. Never again.
All right, Martha. I'll not argue. I got too much to be thankful for. I got just a plain old Luigi I am, and I haven't got everything. And you, Philip Morlock. You ain't got a thing. Just a one-way ticket. Do you know where? There comes a Joe and a Mary. My Joe has missed me. He loved his pop. We was a great of fellows. Was it you and a Mary pals? No.
Luigi, don't make him feel bad.
Is it true? She'd have just as well have been an orphan.
A father and a daughter can't be pals.
You could have looked at her dolls when she was a girl. But no. You was too busy looking at the dolls down at the office.
We can get those books now, Joe.
Guess she's giving away all of them.
To my Joe and to her Joe.
She should have kept those to remember me by.
She's got a plenty to remember you by. All the times you never looked at her dresses when she was a girl, never smiled at her, wouldn't even let her see Joe. She's got a plenty to remember you by. And there comes poor Mrs. Morlock.
Poor Mrs. Morlock, my foot. I left her plenty of money. She doesn't care if I'm gone. She wouldn't care if I was 12 feet under. They could have shoved me into my head and she wouldn't have cared.
You could have cared for her just a little, and have treated her like a wife should have been treated.
She was the luckiest woman in the world. She had plenty of money.
We never had much money, but we were always happy when we lived.
Well, we were different. I wasn't blessed with a wife like that. And don't you start in too. I'm not in the mood for it. Just listen to that. She's humming. Her husband got 2 days dead and she's humming.
The kind of life she's had, I don't to blame her. I'd have burst into song or two.
It's just I was always so busy. And no one ever tried to understand me. I needed sympathy, love.
You need a love and a sympathy like you needed 2 more holes in your head. And there comes sweet little Jessica. Bless her little heart.
A lot she cares too.
She would have liked to be pals with her, Papa. If you'd have just paid some notice to her, you didn't even know she was there.
You think I didn't? Everywhere I turned, she was there. Every time I went over to the book, she was there asking questions. When I tried to relax, she was there asking questions or standing on her head. When I go over to the books and read, she was there making noise and asking questions and still standing on her head. It was enough to drive a man crazy. You can see what a family I had. No wonder I was worried crazy. No wonder I was a nervous wreck. No wonder I'm dead right now. And may my soul rest in peace. And there's that moron of a lawyer of mine, that stupid secretary, with it I could have dropped dead on the spot the day I hired them.
We're going to look into the will today, George?
He didn't have a will, Miss Akers. Mr. Morlock was one of those poor creatures who thought he'd never die.
And I wouldn't have if you hadn't poured all the sleeping tablets down me either.
You can look into books and papers, you'd rather than balance.
People that go around beating other people's sleeping tablets should be whacked over the head, hung up by the toes. And Miss Akers, you're the poorest excuse for a secretary I've ever seen. I can take dictation faster than you on the Braille system. A lot of them care that I'm gone. The whole pack of them's going right on like nothing's happened. Every time I think of it, I get so mad I could die. And believe me, if I was alive, I would.
I'm gonna feel sorry for you now, Mr. Morlock, because if there's nothing you can do about it.
Nobody shed a tear. Not a one. You couldn't even tell there was a death around here. The only black I see is behind Mildred's ears. A tramp in the street couldn't die more forlorn death.
Now, don't feel too sorry for him, Mama. After all, it's all his own fault.
Oh, things a big hateful around here. If it wasn't for that doggone doorbell ringing all the time. What do you want? Oh, Dr. Brown.
Dr. Brown?
Mrs. Morlock. Dr. Brown to see ya. Oh, maybe I better not shout so loud. I might wake the dad. Oh, should I drop dead on the spot? Should I commit such a blunder? Oh, Mrs. Morlock, Dr. Brown to see you.
What a pitiful pill peddler you turned out to be. The idea you're leaving those sleeping tablets laying around. What do you expect people to do? Chew them up like candy?
It's a good idea. We'll be back before we go up, Mr. Morlock.
Dr. Brown, how nice to see you.
Mrs. Morlock, oh, you're looking well.
Oh, she's feeling fine, too. Very chipper.
Thank you, Dr. Brown. Won't you be seated?
Yes, pull up a marble slab and sit down.
I can't stay too long. Just thought I'd stop over and see how you're doing, Hazel. It's all right if I call you Hazel, isn't it?
I think we know each other that well.
Oh, by all means, gracious, yes.
Fine. You can call me LB.
Oh, pray do.
That's short for Leslie.
Oh, how nice.
But what it really means is lover boy.
Lumber boy! Why, you scoundrel! Wolf in doctor's clothing.
I'm telling you all this because I think you should know it, since I've been the family doctor for 20 years. You see, I've never told anyone else.
She probably never doctored anyone else. Hazel, I'd imagine you to move immediately. Hazel, he's holding your hand.
Doctor.
Don't get me wrong, Hazel. I'm just checking your pulse.
How could you do me this way? To me, this is an outrage. Don't let a little thing like me stand your way. After all, I've been dead 48 hours, or at least 24. And just because the poor body isn't even cold yet has absolutely nothing to do with it.
You do understand this is all for your benefit?
Of course, Doctor.
Of course, Dr. My Eye. He's a low-breathing snake, that's what he is. Unhand her, you snake doctor. How could she do me this way? Me, your dear husband who loves her tenderly. What's he doing with his arm around you? Measuring you for an iron lung? What's he doing now?
I'm I'm checking both pulses to see if they're the same, Hazel. You know how.
Yes.
Hazel, power of my life, apple of my eye, little blossom, dear. Well, this has gone far enough. I won't allow it in my home. Just because he's a doctor, he thinks it's a big operator.
We'll sit here and I'll check your pulse for a 30-minute period, Hazel.
30 minutes! Doctor, I demand you out of this house. Dr. Brown, my Miss Aunt's great.
Tell me something, Dr. Brown. Why are you never married?
Hazel, stop putting ideas into his head.
It's just they never found the right woman, Hazel. One that like quiet evenings at home and outings in the park and things like that.
That sounds lovely, Dr. Brown. I always wanted something like that, but Philip never did.
But I did, Hazel. Honest, I did. I'm sorry I didn't take you to the country and sit with you before the fireplace and things like that. I'm sorry. I guess I was just too stubborn.
Hazel,
Yes, Dr. Brown?
would you like to go picking apples with me this fall?
I'd love to, Dr. Brown. I haven't done anything like that since I was a child.
You haven't made mud pies since a child either, but it doesn't mean you should start now.
Picking apples it'll be.
I would have taken you picking apples if I had so much to do. I was overworked, a slave. She was the sweetest little wife in the whole world. Kindest, purest too. Oh, Morlock, what a wretched fool you've been. Would that I relied to fling myself off some rocky cliff.
All's normal. Everything seems to be okay. But just to be on the safe side, you'd best come down to my office at least once a week.
Yes, Doctor.
Aren't you even thinking of me at all? Me, your poor husband who loves you dearly. If I were alive, I'd walk up and throw him out of the house. I'd violently kick him and his pills right out the door.
You drop down to the office any time now, Hazel. I got you running to the YMCA.
Stand up and fight like a man, Doc. I'll beat up on him just for you, Hazel.
We have a boxing club down there. I'm the club champ.
Bet I can whip him in checkers. Why was I so stupid? I treated her like a dog all her married life. People like me should live so long.
Mother? Joel and I have decided to get married.
How nice, dear. I'm so happy. Welcome into the fold, Joel.
Thanks, Mrs. Warlock.
Father can't keep us from it now.
I wouldn't want to marry. I was pig-headed about it, selfish, stupid.
You know, I wanted Dad to give me away at my wedding, but he wouldn't have. He would have sold me, maybe for $100, but he'd have never given me
You're
away.
wrong, Mary. I loved you too, and I knew all the time Joe was a fine fellow, only I never admitted it. If I were alive now, everything would be different. I'd make it up to all of you, including little Jessica, my wonderful little daughter. I'd be pals with you. We'd wrestle and even play football.
Well, guess we can all have fun. A doozy, please, now that Pop's put away.
Jessica!
Jessica, that's no way to talk.
I know it ain't. I shouldn't be ashamed, but you all think the same thing. I'm just stupid enough to say it. Get a whipping for it. But it's the truth. He never was a Papa to me.
Jessica.
None of you ever really knew your father. He didn't die this week. He died years ago. He used to be wonderful. The most wonderful man that ever lived. He was kind, sweet. Sometimes I wonder if it wasn't all my fault.
But it wasn't, Hazel. It was mine. All mine. I should have been lynched years ago. If only I could make it up.
Well, we got most of the papers straight, Mrs. Morlock.
Fine, George.
So, guess I'll be moving along. Don't hesitate to call me about the estate. Don't know what we can say to you in the way of sympathy. Philip, listen. You had a good head for business, and you made the most of it. You'll be financially secure for the rest of your life. Not everyone's lucky enough to have a husband like that.
No, George. Not everyone is that lucky.
Well, guess I'll be running along. Oh, by the way, Lester Hardy and I are getting married. We're gonna celebrate.
Celebrate? Celebrate what?
Well, I think I'll go up and get some rest.
I'll go up with you, Mom.
Guess I better get home too. Got a lot to do.
Okay, Bill. Let's make it next week.
I'm for it, Mary. 190% for it.
Isn't she beautiful, Luigi?
Just like you was, only not quite as much. Well, I guess we'll be moving along now. Everything's set. They're gonna get hitched.
I'll be the proudest one up there. Wings on my shoulders and warm air.
Oh, Mom, you're cute.
Guess I better get home. Got a lot of Dad's things to straighten out.
Okay, bye.
It's finally dawned on me, Luigi. You were right. No one's come to offer any sympathies. No one cares or gives a hoot. Before you go, I'd like to shake your hand, Luigi.
This makes me happy. Underneath, I know you're a finer fellow.
Well, as the rat said on the sinking ship, it's time to be off.
You mean,
It's time to go. All ready, Mrs. Schmaltz?
All ready, Mr. Lucifer. Come, Luigi. It's getting late. The trip is off.
All right, Mama. Goodbye, Mr. Morlock.
goodbye, Luigi. It was nice knowing you, Luigi, and Martha, even though it took me a long time to realize it. Goodbye. It's pretty bad leaving the world when nobody cares. And the only ones coming to your funeral were sightseers and relatives. And the poor relatives had to come. 12-foot monument they're going to erect. Ha!
All right, Mama. Goodbye, Mr. Morlock.
Luigi, I guess this is goodbye. Goodbye, Luigi.
Goodbye, Mr. Morlock.
Well, let's get moving. Well, what you waiting for, brass band? Well, let's get going. We ain't got all day or night.
Mr. Lucifer?
Yes?
Mr. Lucifer, I'm not going.
You're not what?
I'm not going.
He's not going, he says.
Well, get a load of him. Get a load.
Oh, man, we still ain't here tonight. Would you like to repeat your last statement, Doc?
I just suddenly decided I'm not going. That's all there is to it.
What on earth of a note this turned out to be? This calls for deep concentration. This one, Philip Ulysses Morlock, has been assigned to 1705 Brimstone Street. You know where. He's determined to make a you-know-what of a ruckus if we take him there. Ah, these perplexing problems. Now, Mrs. Schmaltz,
Yes, Mr. Lucifer?
here I stand with the pitchfork in my hand, and there he sits as helpless as a pick of jaybird. Now, the question is, should you him with one run or all of them?
All or nothing at all.
At your service, madame.
Go ahead. Pour it on me. I couldn't suffer anymore anyway. I'm hurt through and through. And I've hurt my poor wife, my poor children. I've wasted a whole life. Go ahead. Well, what you waiting for?
No, this I can't do. Never before was there anything like this. Mr. Morlock, I'm going to go wire headquarters about this, and when I get back, either you go down or else.
Let me jab him too.
It's things like this that really burn them up down there. But don't go away, we're coming right back. We're going down as soon as word comes. What on earth of a note this turned out?
This is terrible. Terrible. I've ruined everything. If only I had another chance. I'd be the best husband in the world, the best father, the best boss, the best everything. I'm a fine fellow at heart. I love my wife. I love my children. All I ask is just another chance. Oh, just another chance.
Mr. Morlock, wake up.
I really am.
Mr. Morlock, wake up.
Huh?
You're talking on your head. You ain't coherent.
Are you dead too, Mildred?
Oh, I feel like it. If it ain't one thing, it's another. If you ain't a mind business, what you do? Spend the night on the couch?
You can't talk to me. I'm dead.
You're what?
I'm dead.
If you're dead, I'm leaving Diva.
I died 2 days ago. Today they buried me.
What are you talking about?
What do you think? I'm dead, and that's all there is to it.
Ah,
So's
you're-
Luigi, poor chap.
You're crazy. Crazy as a woman.
What's wrong now, Mildred?
It's your pa. He thinks he's dead.
Father, did you spend the night on the sofa? Did he spend the night on the sofa?
You can't talk to me. You see, Mary, I'm dead. And so's Luigi, poor fellow. Only he's gone. In just a minute, they're coming after me. I don't want to go either.
Father, what in the world are you talking about?
When I woke him up this morning, he was mumbling something about him being dead, and Luigi was supposed to be dead, and he was bawling like a baby.
Father, you were dreaming. You had a nightmare, that's all. You must have fallen asleep on the sofa and spent the whole night right here.
Dreaming? Dreaming? You mean that was a dream? And I'm not dead, and Luigi isn't dead?
Of course not, Father.
But didn't he and I have a scuffle, and he went to the hospital and died?
You had a scuffle, but he certainly didn't die.
A dream. Oh boy. Oh boy, this is wonderful. Mary, my wonderful, wonderful daughter.
Father, what's come over you?
I don't care, just as long as it isn't rigor mortis. Where's your mother?
She's getting ready to leave, Father.
Leave?
Don't you remember? She told you last night she was going to leave this morning. She's taking Jessica and Mildred.
No, it can't be. Hazel, Hazel!
I'm leaving with the children, Philip.
No, you can't do it, Hazel. I love you. I'm mad for you. I've gone through. Well, after what I nearly went through for you, I'm not going to lose you now. Please forgive me, Hazel. Please stay. I can't live without you.
Philip, are you serious?
I'm dead serious. I've never been more serious in my life. And Mary,
Yes, Father?
why don't you and Joe get married just as soon as possible?
Father!
Philip!
I mean it, Hazel. My wife, my own wife. What a fool I've been.
Oh, mother of God!
Only you'll forgive me. I'll be the best husband and father that ever lived.
I'm the doctor for Joe.
Luigi. My best friend, Luigi.
Well, blow me down.
And Joe, son, how's my boy? I was just saying to Mary a while ago that there should be a wedding around here mighty soon. A big wedding. The biggest blowout this town's ever seen.
Holy smokes.
Well, what about me, Mr. Morlock? Do I get to stay?
Can't do without the best maid in town. Why'd you ask?
Well, since me and all the other women's folks is leaving, we put an ad in the paper for a new maid.
Oh, you'll stay. Everyone will stay. I'm the luckiest man in the world, and I want you all to know it. And Luigi, you don't know it, but you've done more to help me than anyone else in the world. I don't know how I can ever repay you.
You had just done it. When you told my son what you just did, my prayers were answered.
Your prayers. Then that's it. That's it. Your Martha was a wonderful person, wasn't she, Luigi?
Best in the world. Well, why do you ask?
I have a sneaking suspicion that she had a hand in this. Jessica, my little daughter Jessica, come to Papa.
What's wrong with him?
We're gonna be great pals. We're gonna wrestle and play at the best time you ever saw.
Mom, has Papa lost his marbles?
I think I've just found them, Jessica, my dear.
You read in the paper this morning that you needed a maid. Came to apply for the job, hoping you could use a good man, too.
We don't need anyone now. You see, No!
See,
No! Help! Hazel, save me! Save me!
All I did was apply for the job.